For some time now, people have been talking online about what's actually happening in Russia, about some of the attacks that you're able to see, about this whole thing to do with the Olympics and companies getting boycotted and all that kind of stuff. And that leaves to people with the question of, what the fuck is happening in Russia? That is where the aim of this video comes in, and I'm going to try and put it into basic terms for you guys to be able to understand. One of the major factors which hasn't helped Russia in its kind of treatment of the LGBT community is the law changes which have come into effect and have sort of been debated for a little bit of time, but we'll come on to that in just a little bit. What is actually happening to the gay community in Russia? One of the most common things that you'll probably hear about is these Russian gangs that are getting together and via social media or gay dating websites or community groups or whatever it is, if they can get in touch with a gay person, what they will normally do is a group of them will try to act mostly online or over the phone or something like that as one person, and they will try to arrange a sort of date type thing. When this gay person turns up, obviously it's a gang of people and that just basically leads to trouble. The incidents that I refer to in most cases are along the lines of like rape, torture, in quite a few cases death, just physical abuse, mental abuse, all that kind of shit. One of the worst things about it at the moment, and this is kind of where I wouldn't be happy going to Russia even as a tourist, is that, you know, in the United Kingdom as it currently stands, if someone was to carry out one of them attacks here, the police, no matter who the policeman is, have to act fairly under law. Now if they don't, that police officer can come under fire themselves. So it's in their best interest. If they want to keep their job, they have to act with our best interests at heart as well. Now what they would do is they would obviously find these people and they would bring them to some sort of justice, but that's the UK justice system, doesn't exist, whatever. In Russia, the gay community don't have the support of the police. There is a very, very minute number of cases that you will hear about. Now, all the time that these happen, you will find out about them in the news. But there has been a very few cases where the attackers have actually been brought in and kind of like given a bit of a slap on the wrist, but nothing major. So, why is there all this stuff about boycotting companies? Where does that come into it? As some of you guys may well have seen, Russia is hosting the Winter Olympics at the moment. Now, that is great, you know, whatever. If that country was treating all its people with the same respect, if they basically had equality. As it currently stands, Russia doesn't. Russia doesn't have, in fact, anything really to protect the gay people in Russia, no matter where they are in the whole country. Now, a lot of these people are saying it's because Russia is proud of its history and can't really move forward and all that kind of shit. Well, I'm sorry, but they would still have slaves if that was true. But moving on, where do these companies come into it? Like McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, Samsung, who else is there? There's a few big companies that are in there as well. Coca-Cola is another one. And these are companies that I have basically said goodbye to for the last time. The Winter Olympics is obviously being hosted in Russia. Now, that will bring into Russia a lot of money. But, and this is like a bit of a brief history lesson for you here. Just before World War II, when Hitler had started his concentration camps and his persecution of the gays, the blacks, the Jews, all that kind of stuff, when he'd started all of that, the Olympics was actually going to be held in Germany. I believe it's in Germany. I can't remember if it was or somewhere around there. But basically, the Olympic Committee wrote to Hitler and said, you'll have to stop the persecution of these people while we have the Olympics on. I can't remember exactly if Hitler actually complied with their request or if it was just a request, but that's not the point. The point is, they got involved about that. They actually said, stop it while the Olympics is on. I mean, okay, fair enough, it didn't stop World War II from happening. It didn't stop his persecution after the Olympics. But for that little period, he could have stopped. I don't know, I wasn't there. But and this is the big but here. The Olympic Committee have stuck by Russia, and they have said that they will not be getting involved because the Olympics isn't about politics and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, hang on, why the fuck did you write to Hitler? Because he was persecuting the blacks, the gays, and the Jews, and all them kind of people. Yet, because it's in the 21st century and he's only attacking the gay people in the country, why are you not doing anything about that? Why is that acceptable? These companies like Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Samsung, all them, they spend a hell of a lot of money with the Olympics to basically have their logo on everything that is possible. Now, that's all great if the Olympics is going to be held in a country where people have equality. So, what I did, and what literally millions of other people did around the world, is we said to these companies, do you know what, if you continue to give money to the Olympics and you support it being held in Russia, we're going to call you out on your shit. That's what we will do. Now, leading up to the Olympics, there was literally petition after petition that I had to sign. It was just unbelievable. There was protests outside, like McDonald's restaurants, boycotts of Procter & Gamble products, that kind of stuff. There was loads of that up and down the UK that I know of. I'm not too sure about other countries. Again, I'm not there, so I don't really know. But, yeah. So these companies have still said, we're going to send money to the thing because we want our name to be there. And it's like, well, hang on, in a roundabout way you're supporting homophobia, so I don't want my money going to support a country which does that to its people, so I'm having fuck all to do with them. And this genuinely is a lifetime promise. I'm having fuck all to do with McDonald's. I will never eat in another McDonald's again. I really won't. I'm disgusted with them. For an international brand like that claims to be, supportive of equality and all that, fucking bullshit. Absolute bullshit. They've done nothing for the gay community, and to be fair, it is actually needed. Coca-Cola, again, another big company that I won't be a part of. I won't have anything to do with them. They can literally just go and sit on my middle finger. Couldn't care less. So, what has changed in the law then to actually bring about this sort of culture? From what I can tell, and this is not having looked it up on the internet, this is purely just what I know off the top of my head, but this actually started quite a while ago. There was a video that I did on this channel, and I can't remember when it went up, but it was to do with Madonna, who was on a world tour. Now, she'd been to like Turkey, which hasn't got the greatest gay rights thing going on. Like, it's kind of, yeah, but it's not like, yeah. But yeah, so she'd been there, blah blah blah. She was traveling all around. She got to Russia, and of course she did the speech, because a lot of her fans that went along to one of these shows, they held up signs. I can't remember what they said. It's something in Russian, and I actually learned it. But yeah, so they had like the gay flag logo out and all that kind of stuff. And Madonna did this speech, and she said, you know what, we need to end the persecution of gay people, and we should have equality throughout the world. And, you know, I think she quoted Martin Luther King Jr. at one point. I can't remember what that speech was. But anyway, she got in so much trouble about that. Like, fucking loads of trouble. And if my memory serves me right, isn't she banned from Russia or something like that? There's something. I know that they came after her for a lot of money, and I don't think they got a single penny of it. Because, as well, it is Madonna at the end of the day. Like, she's one to just turn around and be like, go fuck yourself. Anyway, so she got in trouble about that. That was years ago. And then since then, there's kind of been like little law changes that have come into effect, like just a little one here and just a little one there. And then there was a major one that went through, which was to do with gay propaganda. Gay propaganda. Gay propaganda is defined by these Russian lawmakers that basically it's illegal for me to go into like a school of any sort and openly talk about being gay, like in any way. Like, I couldn't even mention that someone, a celebrity, is gay. Like, that's what their law is. Over time, there's been laws changed to say that it's illegal for people to hold two hands in public areas and all this kind of shit. And through it, all these little changes, and then this big one about the gay propaganda, they've basically outlawed it to be gay in Russia, and that's what's happened. It's a little bit more that the West could actually be doing. But what is that? I don't know too much about the United States and where their political stance on this whole thing is, but I do know that here in the United Kingdom, we've had so many speeches given about this, and in the most weird of places as well. Like, the most recent one was Nick Clegg, who is the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and he turned around and said that no one from his political party, because for those of you that don't know, the United Kingdom, we've currently got two political parties that are in a coalition trying to run a government. It's not really working. But yeah, so Nick Clegg is one of them, and David Cameron, who's our Prime Minister, like the top dog, he's another political party. Nick Clegg turned around in a speech the other week and said that none of his political party would be going to the Winter Olympics because of the laws that have changed in Russia. And it's like, why would you only say that, like, the day before the Olympics? Why? Why wouldn't you say that, like, months ago? And why wouldn't you actually say, no, nobody from my political party is going, instead of just saying, well, no one went? So that was a bit like, you saw a bandwagon and you were like, ooh, just gonna have a little jump, and landed on it. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and I believe that there is 2 or 3 others, names not coming to the top of my head, but they have done speeches and they have basically condemned Russia's treatment of gay people in Russia, funnily enough. The main thing about it is, actions speak louder than words, like, all the time. Doing a speech to say, I don't like the way that the gays are being treated in Russia, fuck off. I could do that speech. What? Why? What? There's a thing that's there's a thing that got brought into law in the United Kingdom a couple of years ago, and not many people picked up on it, but it was saying that, because we do spend a lot of money in foreign aid, and that basically our money from the United Kingdom that we send to these other countries in foreign aid would only go to countries where people are treated equally. Now, it's not so much kind of defined by same-sex marriage. That bit's kind of all right to slide under the carpet for some reason. But, yeah. So there is things. I mean, I do agree with it. It is certainly a step in the right direction, because we shouldn't be sending money to countries where they will set women on fire because they still believe that they're witches. I mean, that's fucked up right there. So yeah, okay, withhold money to them countries, but you know, that's kind of our thing, where we can turn around and say, do you know what, we're sending you this money. If you don't start treating your people with some fucking respect, we're cutting you off. That's it. And leave it at that. And you know what? These laws would change so fast in other countries, because, like I said, it is quite a bit of money that we're sending over. And that's not to sound big-headed or anything, it just is a fucking shitload of money. We need to stand up to Russia, because Russia's just not going to listen to us otherwise. I mean, what the fuck? You think Vladimir Putin's got his fucking telly on Obama 24 hours a day? And the second that Obama says, I don't like the way that Russia's treating its gay people, he's just going to be like, oh, fucking, I'll just roll over and spread my legs for you now then, shall I? He's not going to be arsed, you know? I mean, let's put it this way. This Vladimir Putin that everyone keeps slagging off, right? Let's have a look at him as a political leader. He's got albums out that he's brought out while he's been in power. Yeah. The man wants to be a singer, but he's kind of just slightly involved in politics at the moment by being the fucking leader of Russia. The homoerotic pictures, Christ almighty, I don't even know where to begin with them. I really don't. Can we just go on to the next one? The gay propaganda thing. He comes under so much criticism for the gay propaganda law and all that kind of stuff. Do you really think it's him that's personally brought in them laws? 'Cause it's not. Everyone just thinks it's Putin. And it's like, there's a whole government behind him. You know, he's kind of supported. So, Go after the government, not just him. Is the point, really, I'm trying to get across there. And then, of course, finally, people are going to be wondering, what is the chance of change? The short answer to that is that kind of change is slightly on its way, but it's still a long way off. Where is this change happening? Well, I can't remember what religion it was, but one of these like high up people in the religion has turned around in recent weeks and said that these laws that have been brought in should be voted for by the people. I mean, they're supposed to live in a democratic society. So if the government supports these laws and thinks that the people support the laws, it's got nothing to be afraid of by putting it to a public vote. Kind of not, I so hope not, but not mirror image to what they did in California for Prop 8. Some of you guys who are watching this will probably remember about Prop 8, but you'll remember that it was same-sex marriage was banned, then it was legal for a little bit. Was it a couple of months? I think it was just a couple of months, wasn't it? Then it went to a public vote again, and the ban came back in, and obviously most recently same-sex marriage was allowed. So there we go. Why doesn't Russia put it to a public vote? Or are they afraid that they've come out with these laws and not many others actually support it? On the other side of that, change is going to take quite a while to come through. The reason that I say that change is going to take a while to come through is because, well, it is going to take a while to come through. I mean, look, laws can change. If these governments wanted laws to change, laws can change like that. They can do whatever they want, and you've just kind of got to go along with it. Laws can change so fast. But laws change however fast it takes. But people's opinions and attitudes don't change as fast. And that's a really sad, but it's still a truth. Now, I have never been to Russia. The likelihood of me going to Russia is kind of slim as well, slimmer than me. But if it is true that this is the people's attitude that live in the country, then what does it matter that the laws change? Like, really, what does it matter? Because like I said, the laws can change within minutes, but people's attitudes will take longer. Now, okay, the laws changing would be a huge step forward, because it would allow these people that are in a same-sex relationship to hold hands in public place. It would take a while that way for them to grow confidence in the services that they have to use. You know, it would take a while, certainly for the police service, because the police service at the moment don't offer any sort of protection to gay people in Russia. So that has got to change. And, you know, the kind of thoughts that people have about the gay community, that would have to change. And this shit doesn't happen overnight. This does take a while. It's not impossible, and obviously the sooner that the government get working on it, the better, but it can change. The final thing that I would like to say on this is that one of the main things that I've seen is people saying that Russia won't change because it's a proud country of its traditions. Can I just remind people of some of the traditions that we've had in Western culture? Like the tradition of women staying at home and cooking. The tradition of it's fine to own a black slave. The tradition of hanging people in public ceremonies. You know? We, as countries, have a lot of history of traditions. And look at us now. We've come out of them traditions. Did it happen overnight? No, it didn't. But an excuse to do nothing on this topic because you feel that it's a tradition and that Russia will never change isn't good enough. this change won't happen unless it has public support. So, show your support.